Where the news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And let's talk about the dew factor today. Driving up the hill this morning, you could hardly keep the windshield clean.
So humid out. That's the one of the ingredients for that hazy, hot, and humid. Of course, you had the humidity. It's very dewy out.
It is.
And it's warm out there today. Let's take a live look outside in downtown Utica this morning, where you can see out in the distance some faint haze. Now, this is mainly, of course, from some faint wildfire smoke, which gave us a pretty colorful sunset yesterday. But there is some fog trying to form right now, and that's, of course, due to that higher dew point and humidity, as Gary mentioned here. Temperatures, because of the high humidity, haven't fallen quickly despite clear skies. Usually radiative cooling will cool things down quickly in a drier atmosphere. 73 in Rome, 67 in Rome, 73 in Syracuse. 65 Inlet, 62 Otter Lake, 71 in Deansboro, 65 Little Falls. Same thing in Cooperstown, and 66 degrees in Oneonta. The radar right now still looking dry, and the next 12 hours show weather pretty similar to yesterday, almost a carbon copy here. Still high humidity, still high temperatures. We arrive tomorrow with still some warm temperatures, high humidity, but there will be a cool down on the way. We'll track that coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. New this morning, more details are emerging about the suspect in last night's Midtown Manhattan shooting.
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back to Sunrise on this Tuesday morning. Time now 5:12, and like yesterday, we're starting out with warm temperatures, high humidity, warming up pretty quickly this afternoon. I'll look at some roadways this morning. Still not nearly as widespread of fog compared to yesterday, but it is trying to form, especially along the Mohawk River and in parts of the southern valleys. You can see some pockets of New York State with 1 mile visibility in Hamilton, 3 miles in Glens Falls, but the rest of the state relatively impact-free when it comes to fog early this morning. Traffic tracker is green across the board. No accidents to report early today, and the radar also showcasing dry weather. So you got a pretty quiet start to your morning, aside from that fog. So you head outside today, temperatures climb from the 60s to the 80s by the afternoon. Very similar to yesterday, but enjoy the heat and humidity because we approach the end of the week and we're going to see a little bit of a cool down. In fact, pretty pleasant cool down this coming weekend. Might be the best we've seen in quite a while. We'll have all the details on that coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
The state wants to help New Yorkers beat the heat and swelter.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Today is going to be another hot and humid one, with temperatures soaring into the upper 80s throughout the day today. Live look at Oneonta. Fog trying to form out there, as always. Still, though, above that cloud layer, gorgeous clear skies, maybe some wildfire haze out there, but either way, it's a warm start. Upper 60s right now, and you can see here a lot of the state here in the upper 60s, low 70s. 73 Syracuse looks to be the warm spot here in upstate New York. So while we're dealing with the high heat today, it's not record setting. In the meantime, you head south, it's a different story. The southeast, lots of heat advisories, excessive heat warnings. By the way, Tampa broke its all-time high temperature record at 100 degrees. Now you're probably wondering, it's Florida. Really, 100 degrees is as warm as it gets? Well, humidity works both ways. It keeps temperatures warm overnight, but it gets harder and harder for extremely high temperatures to take place with high humidity, as there's a lot more energy required to raise the temperature of moist air 1 degree versus dry air, which is why deserts always usually have the highest reported temperatures here in the world. So while things are dry temporarily, you can see here rainfall begins to move in from a slow-moving front heading into Wednesday and Thursday. We'll get to that here in a second, though. But again, today, with the high heats and humidity, pack some extra waters if you work outside today. Of course, that typical sunscreen and hat to shade yourself from the sunshine. Still, though, it's no reason not to go out and enjoy some ice cream today, but eat it fast. It's going to be melting within seconds. So just a heads up today, that's going to be very warm and very humid. We'll continue to track wildfire smoke today. It does exit. We still have some more rounds of light haze to deal with for the next few days, but a lot of it doesn't really impact us near the surface. We'll continue to track the air quality sensors, though. So today, morning fog turns to sunshine. High temperatures upper 80s to near 90 degrees. Tomorrow, the rain actually isn't really that widespread. A stray thunderstorm or two. This front isn't really that strong, but the back side of this right here begins to move in Thursday morning. We're going to see a few scattered showers, maybe a few downpours here and there as that front begins to move its way east. And it could shift north or south a little bit, but overall, Thursday appears to be the rainier of the 2 days. Then Friday moves in. It's sunny, it's warm, not too hot, mid-70s. And it sets the stage for one of the nicest weekends we'll see, in my opinion, all summer long. We've got lots of sun, not a drop of rain, temperatures upper 70s, low 80s, looking fantastic this coming weekend, Gary. Any events, any outdoor plans you guys have? It's going to be a great weekend for it.
Start making them now.
Yep.
Book it. Eric, thanks. The time right now is 5 again, and thank you for joining us here on this Tuesday morning. I'm Gary Libator, and if you head out this morning, you'll want to put those windshield wipers on because, Eric, it is quite dewy out there this morning, isn't it?
Yeah, I had some dew on my windshield as I headed out this morning. You had dew driving up the hill here. Yeah, it's very humid out there. A live look at downtown Utica. Well, you can't quite see the humidity. It's a bit difficult to see that, but there is fog trying to form. Of course, the Mohawk River on the back side of this camera here, so we can't exactly see it, but it is trying to form in the lower elevations. The temperatures this morning in the mid to upper 60s, 73 in Syracuse. We zoom in here, 61 Otter Lake, 65 in Dowdesville, 70 in Westernville, 66 in Westmoreland, and to the south, 67 Richfield Springs and 64 degrees in Oneonta. The radar this morning picking up on dry conditions, and this will be the last fully dry day for the next couple of days. Now, tomorrow is not a washout, but storm chances hit or miss. Today, though, no storms expected. Lots of sunshine, high heat, and humidity. Highs upper 80s near 90. We're tracking when that cool down arrives. Again, those rain chances over the next few days coming up in a few short minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks, and don't forget, the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away each morning. President Trump has...
Channel 2 is by Holland Farms Bakery and Deli. This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back to Sunrise on this Tuesday morning. Our photo of the day today is a great shot of one of the staples of our area. Of course, we're in central New York. Farmers, a huge part of the community here. And remember, earlier this year, springtime, early summer, it was so cool, so cloudy, so rainy. I asked some of you on social media, those of you who are farmers, how the crops were looking, and you said that it was still you needed days and days of sunshine to have all these crops catch up. And needless to say, this July hasn't disappointed. Now, to be fair, you might have wanted more rain, but with all that sunshine, those corn crops, at least from someone outside the farming community, looks healthy. So, again, shout out to those of you who are farmers watching this morning. Shout out to Westmoreland, and thank you to Stephanie for submitting this photo. If you have a photo like this you'd like to share with us, send it to the link right there in the top of your screen, WKTV.com/weather/pics. Gary?
Was that gorgeous?
Great shot of all the corn.
That's
miles and miles.
Eric, thanks. The Utica Zoo hosted free admission.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, time now 5:48, and early today it is a warm start and what will be a very hot afternoon. Let's take a live look in Oneonta. A great scene outside of what you can see being the haze and the humidity out there. Temperature is 64 degrees. This is going to climb very quickly today, up again into the upper 80s, near 90. You can see those temperatures across the area already in the 60s and 70s here. And a lot of the country, especially in the southeast, under excessive heat warnings, heat advisories. It is very, very hot down south. We're getting a small taste of it today and even early tomorrow, but then we're going to start to see a little bit of a change in the weather pattern. This cold front moves through. You can see rain chances passing over us Thursday, and then things on the cooler and less humid side to wrap up the work week. But again, that's later on this week. When it comes to today, it's still hot and humid. Grab some extra waters if you work outside today, ice cold waters. Stay hydrated, especially in this heat. Another thing too, avoid the dog walk until after sunset. That asphalt is going to be very hot today. And on top of that, it's still great ice cream weather. Eat it quick though, it's going to melt in seconds. So we are tracking that wildfire smoke again today. It's not incredibly impactful, but it's going to cause some light haze in the sky. Same thing for Thursday. It's really just hit or miss on either day when they arrive. We're still in the vicinity of that smoke. The pattern hasn't really shifted outside of central New York just yet. But let's look at the skycast here today. Patchy fog this morning turns to sunshine in the afternoon like yesterday. In fact, pretty much the forecast is just yesterday. If you knew how hot it was, how much sun we had, just repeat that again for this afternoon. Then by tonight, lows fall into the 60s with mainly clear skies, patchy fog developing again tomorrow morning, and then an isolated storm or two. Look at these storms are not really widespread. In fact, a lot of our area remains almost entirely dry. This is not one of those fronts that's going to produce widespread storms or rain showers. Thursday is our better shot for rainfall. You can see the stationary front passing over us, but there is still some uncertainty with the arrival of this as well, as this shifts its way east and it transfers energy toward the coast and the front strengthens. It's going to weaken this backside front here, so the transfer of the energy is what could be causing less rainfall than we can see pictured here. But either way, it's the rainiest day of the next 7. Following that, sunshine moves in Friday. Look at those temperatures there, 76 the high. And on top of that, check out the weekend. It's looking sunny, it's looking pleasant with lower humidity. I mentioned the last half hour, it could be one of the nicest weekends we've seen all summer long, taking place right here for the first weekend of August.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Not just Saturday and Sunday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday,
yeah,
Monday.
3 days. Oh, 4 days, yeah.
Looking good. Eric, thanks. Well, if you're looking for something to do on Monday night.
With Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us on this Tuesday morning. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And we have to talk about the dew factor. I mean, this had to be the worst I've ever seen coming up to work this morning with the wipers. It just wouldn't clear.
Yeah, and when you have the dew point so close to the temperature, it's like you're driving through fog, driving through clouds. That's the case this morning. I do my windshield. Outside this morning, we take a live look in Utica, where, yes, you can't quite see where that fog is trying to form. Of course, the Mohawk River out on the left side of your screen, beyond where the Nexus Center is. But either way, it is a warm start, temperatures in the 60s, high humidity here, and that's the key, with dew points in the very humid category. Expect the potential for dew in your windshield this morning, as well as the potential for fog. There's fog reported in Hamilton right now with reduced visibility. The radar picking up on that low-level inversion today. You can see some of that light green here. It's not rainfall, just clear skies with that temperature difference impacting the radar scans there. But the next 12 hours, we'll see those temperatures climb into the upper 80s, near 90 again this afternoon, very similar to yesterday. And as we head into tomorrow and Thursday, there's a better shot for showers, maybe a thunderstorm. We'll track those chances, plus those temperature differences as we head into the end of the week coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Brand new this morning. More details are emerging.
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back. Time now 6:12 on this Tuesday morning. Like yesterday, it's a warm start, a humid start, and you might be encountering some fog on your morning drive to work. Let's take a look at some roadways today. And you can see here, it's a lot of sunshine as well, but the fog is really trying to form, for one, along the Mohawk River in the Mohawk Valley, and two, in parts of the southern valleys closer to the southern tier. So those are the two main spots it's trying to develop. But it's not as widespread or as thick as yesterday. And to look at some visibility here, the only pockets where the visibility is reduced near Hamilton, 0-mile visibility. Again, you head down to the southern tier, that's where some of those pockets of heavier fog are located. But heading up north, not really that high of an impact. Traffic tracker, green across the board today. Same thing on the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. We're looking at dry conditions this morning, and as you head outside, aside from that fog, the temperatures climb and the sunshine moves in, approaching the upper 80s to near 90 this afternoon. We're going to be following that heat, that humidity, when it breaks, and when we could see some rainfall in the near future in a few minutes. Gary?
Thanks. Well, the state wants to help New Yorkers beat the heat.
Storm Tracker 2 team, where we track storms. The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody. Time now 6:17, and today going to be warm and humid like yesterday. Live look in Oneonta, where the sun starting to rise over the eastern horizon there, and that fog in the valley right there trying to form as well. It's not as thick as yesterday, but there's still fog forming this morning. It's the heads up as you head outside. Temperature is 64 degrees. Heading in the Mohawk Valley, 66, 72 in Syracuse, even in the upper 60s up in Saranac Lake. So today's high heat is driven by a dome of heat in the southeast. This is an incredible heat wave impacting a lot of, say, south of Ohio, heading toward Alabama, Georgia, Florida, South Carolina. And in fact, in Florida, in Tampa, the record high temperature was officially set at 100 degrees for the first time ever, not just in a single day, ever. By the way, if you're wondering, 100 degrees really in Florida, that's about as high as it got. Well, with high humidity, it's more difficult for air to heat up. Similarly, it's a lot more difficult for air to cool down when it's very humid out, which is why on humid summer nights, it's pretty warm. But we'll take a look at what happens in the next few days. You can see here that heat slowly shifts its way south. Our weather pattern over the next couple of days favors unsettled conditions, an isolated storm tomorrow, and the chance for scattered rain showers on Thursday. But today, either way, it's still hot, it's humid, no rainfall expected. So those of you who work outside, pack some extra water when you head out to work today. But either way, it's still great weather for ice cream, so even though it's very hot and humid out there, enjoy all the ice cream. So Today's forecast also calls for haze, which isn't really all entirely humidity. Could be some wildfire smoke here. Now, it's not really that high, but it could impact the visibility over the next couple of days. You can see waves of smoke pushing into our area as that pattern favors that wind carrying in that smoke from central and western Canada. So we look at the skycast today. Plenty of fog this morning, turning to sunshine by the afternoon, very similar to yesterday. Then by tonight, lows fall into the 60s with fog forming again, with a mainly dry day tomorrow with an isolated storm possible. This front has really weakened a lot, but that doesn't mean we're out of the woods when it comes to rainfall for the next few days. Thursday is our best shot for rain. A front transfers energy from the west to the east. In the process, we could see a few showers linger through parts of our area, but we'll see how that shapes up, especially by tomorrow. For now, though, expect Thursday to be the rainiest day of the next 7. In the wake of that front, things are going to change weather-wise. The pattern shifts to a cooler one, 70s, sunshine. It's going to be a beautiful stretch. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, one of the nicest 3-day stretches we've seen in quite a while, Gary. Probably the nicest stretch all summer long we're expecting this weekend. So it's looking fantastic weather-wise.
Yeah, after that patch of rain we had for quite a while, it's been beautiful ever since.
Yes, gorgeous weather this weekend.
Continues. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us again. And thank you for joining us for this half hour. I'm Gary Libator. If you liked yesterday's weather, get ready for a repeat today. Meteorologist Eric Gage in the Weather Center. And Eric, it is already starting pretty warm this morning.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we're already in the 60s, still high temperatures expected today, and that high humidity. In fact, let's take a look in downtown Utica this morning. We have sunshine, so a little more sun than clouds compared to yesterday, but that fog is really trying its best to form in parts of the southern valleys and parts of the Mohawk Valley. But this is the key here. The dew points in the mid-60s. It is a very humid start to the day today, and especially that the temperatures here, look at the dew point, look at the temperature, 1 degree off. When you have that small of a difference, it's incredibly dewy out. So driving into work, you might encounter some dew on the windshield. You might have dew on the windshield as you head into your car this morning. But either way, it is still a very humid start to your day today. Temperatures, we zoom in across the area, 64 Dowdesville, 69 in Westernville, 65 in Cooperstown, and 66 degrees in Unadilla. Now the radar picking up on some green, but that's not rainfall, just an inversion it's picking up right now. And in fact, today, no rainfall is expected. Temperatures climb into the upper 80s, near 90, just like yesterday. But this will be the last day of that high heat and humidity, at least for the most part. We head into tomorrow and eventually the end of the week, and we're going to see some cooler temperatures and some rainfall chances. We have all that and more coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And don't forget, the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away each morning. President Trump is now breaking.
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back, everybody, to News Channel 2 at sunrise on this Tuesday. Our photo of the day today takes us to Westmoreland, and it's a great shot of sunshine and corn, a staple of our community, the farming community here in the Mohawk Valley. And I will say this, I remember a couple of months ago, I believe, actually maybe a month or so ago in mid-June potentially, I asked farmers on my social media pages how your crops were doing. And a lot of responses were, it still needs some time to catch up. It's been raining, it's been cloudy, it hasn't really had a lot of sunshine. And I will say this, there's been quite the opposite of a weather pattern compared to June and July, where that sun has really helped the crops. And from an outsider's perspective here, driving by all the cornfields, they look healthy to me. So again, shout out to all you farmers watching this morning. I hope the crops still remain good. I hope we get some beneficial rain here and there, but still, as always, you need lots of sunshine for the corn here. So, again, thank you to Stephanie for this photo. If you have a photo like this you'd like to share with us, send it to WKTV.com/weather/pigs. Gary?
Eric, thanks. The Utica Zoo hosted free admission.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good Tuesday morning. Well, the heat continues. Been quite a humid stretch of the past few days, quite a hot stretch as well. And although it's still a mild morning, take a live look in Oneonta, temperature at 64 degrees. Just like yesterday, we'll warm quickly into the upper 80s to near 90 this afternoon. Across the state, 60s, 70s, warm start, plenty of sun, still some areas of fog. You can see that fog reported in Hamilton early today. But again, like yesterday, that sunshine begins to move in. So what's going on across the U.S. right now? There's a major heat wave in the southeast. Records broken with temperatures, all-time records broken, not just daily records. And while this heat is still encompassing a lot of the southeast and central U.S., we have a little bit of a taste of it here in New York State. We're not getting the brunt of it, but we're getting temperatures upper 80s, near 90, nothing record-setting. But once this front moves through, you can see here, rain showers pass over us. Things begin to cool down a little bit. We get this westerly to northwesterly flow, which anytime we see that in July, even in early August, it means a great recipe for great weather. But for today, though, it's still very hot and very humid. If you work outside, grab some extra water. Stay hydrated, the key here today with all that humidity in the air. But yes, it's hot, it's humid. Still, enjoy these summertime days while we have them. Get outside, go for some ice cream, support some local businesses today. It's going to be very warm, and that ice cream is going to melt pretty quickly. So go out and enjoy some ice cream today. We'll keep a close eye on wildfire smoke. Again, really no major impacts to air quality, but there's a very faint haze in the sky from that smoke we're continuing to track over the next couple of days. Today, patchy fog gives way to sunshine, very similar to yesterday with those temperatures and that humidity. Highs upper 80s. Tonight, lows in the 60s, fog forming again, and then by tomorrow afternoon, despite a front moving in, isolated storm or two here and there, but the best chance for rainfall arrives overnight into Thursday. You can see this rain begin to develop from this frontal boundary up north initially, then that front passes over us, bringing scattered showers to the region before we dry out by Friday. And so your 7-day forecast, Thursday, the rainiest of the next 7, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, even maybe parts of Monday, Gary. Look at that stretch. Upper 70s, low 80s, sunshine, dry weather. Could be the nicest weekend all summer long. It'll be fantastic to start August.
Looking forward to it. Eric, thanks. Well, if you're looking...
News with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for... Good morning. Good afternoon. I'm Gary Liberatore. At least I had that part right.
I'll tell you, I was very tired this morning. I probably said good afternoon in the morning. So, yeah, go figure. It's a very warm one today.
A scorcher.
Scorcher, Gary. Another one this afternoon. Let's take a look at those heat advisories, because it's not just us. I will say you can tell it's hot when the southeast has heat advisories. So it is very hot for much of the U.S., including us here in central New York. We have some heat advisories, primarily in the Hudson Valley, parts of Montgomery County here. But much of our area, it's hot. It's not record-setting hot, but still, with that humidity out there today, heat index in the upper 80s, 91 Syracuse, nearly 100 down in Poughkeepsie. So parts of the state definitely experiencing that true heat today. Downtown Utica, a live view outside. Despite the heat, it's an entirely dry day today. Radar also picking up on dry conditions. In the next 12 hours, we've got that high heat in place here today. As we head into tonight, things remain clear for the most part. Tomorrow, an isolated storm. We have a better shot for rain showers arriving on Thursday, and that could usher in some cooler temperatures. We'll talk about that cool down as we enter August. Plus, more on this heat in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And the state wants to help New York.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon, everybody. Today, another hot and humid one. We take a live look in Old Forge, where it is still hot up there. Today might be a great water safari day and feels just like the midst of summertime here locally. 81 officially up north, in the mid to upper 80s expected in the Mohawk Valley in the lower elevations. And this is all driven by this massive area of heat impacting the southeast today, yesterday, and the next few days. We're getting a taste of it today and even parts of tomorrow, but things are going to change. Watch what happens with this rain shower as it pushes its way east. We're going to see some widespread rainfall, at least scattered rain showers, Thursday throughout the day. We'll see how quickly this energy transfer takes place to a coastal low out here, which that would be the only thing that would prevent this rain from being heavy and steady. But either way, today there's no rainfall. It's hot and humid. And again, a PSA. Do not walk your dogs in the mid-afternoon sunshine. Look how hot some of this surface temperature can get. 125 at concrete, 140 on asphalt. So just wait until the sun sets. Again, a great gauge for this. You don't need a thermometer. Just put your palm on the pavement. If it is hot for your hand, it's too hot for your pets. Still, though, we have shoes, thankfully, and a great day to go out to the Otsego County Fair, which, again, starts today. Temperatures in the 80s. It's going to be hot and humid. And, yes, there's plenty of sunshine. Tomorrow, there's still some sun sticking around as well. Isolated storm chance, but it's not really that widespread. So once the rides open tomorrow, you got a hot and humid day for that one as well. So widespread sunshine today. Tonight, lows in the 60s with clear skies. Patchy fog develops again tomorrow morning, and then we turn to the 80s by the afternoon. A front begins to move in. There could be an isolated storm before it, but the best shot for rainfall arrives in the early morning hours Thursday. Here comes that front, initially in the North Country, then passing over our area with scattered rain showers throughout the day. That lingers into the late evening, and then things dry up just in time for Friday. And so your 7-day forecast, lots of sunshine today. Again, here comes isolated storms tomorrow. And then following Thursday, we've got some nice weather arriving Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with highs in the upper 70s to low 80s. So it's incredibly hot and humid, at least for today. Cooling down next week. I think the big story, though, is a lot of that heat and humidity taking place not only here, but around the U.S.
That's right. That heat dome is producing stifling temperatures nationwide, with more than 150 million people under heat alerts.
And you can see right here, this is the dome affecting a lot of those millions of people right here. NBC's Emily Ikeda has more this noon from Jersey City, New Jersey.
Hey there. Well, officials from Jacksonville, Florida to New York City are offering a clear and direct message to people today. Stay inside if you can. Here in northern Jersey, it's expected to feel like 105 degrees, marking the third extreme heat warning for the region so far in this unrelenting summer. The heat dome hanging on is impacting more than 150 million people across the country today, prompting some cities to extend hours at splash pads and pools. New York City even transforming some cultural hubs like museums into massive cooling centers to allow people to escape what will be the fifth heat emergency of the season. Now, people are cleaning up in the upper Midwest from a very different weather woe. Detroit had been soaked by several inches of rain, and in South Dakota, there was a possible tornado that touched down and tore through homes and farms. In Dallas today, first responders are bracing for yet another day of a heat index feeling like 103 degrees with concerns of heat-related illness. Now, officials are also urging people to be mindful of air quality alerts stretching from Delaware to Rhode Island, especially in those vulnerable populations. Think younger children, older adults, people with breathing and heart conditions. Back to you.
Emily Ikeda reporting from New Jersey. Coming up, switching gears, meteorologist Eric Gage joining us. And Eric, earlier in the season, the What the Truck had a lot of cancellations. Not lately.
Yeah, rain, storms. This time, really no excuse to go out and enjoy all the great local food trucks here. Let's take a look at that forecast. We're in the 80s for this afternoon, near 90. And then, of course, closer to sunset, we're still in the low 80s. And it's still plenty of sun out there today. And just get out and enjoy the nice summertime weather. I keep saying it because, again, I remember being in this exact same situation last year. Thinking, oh, it's so hot, it's so humid. And then winter comes and you realize just how nice it was. But there's nothing against winter time, but there's a lot more things to do outside in summer compared to winter. Still, though, stay cool and hydrated today. Now, of course, a lot of the southern U.S. impacted by excessive heat warnings or heat advisories, including us here locally. A lot of locations in Pennsylvania, the East Coast, New York City, Philadelphia, Hudson Valley, Albany, and a section of Montgomery County right here under a heat advisory means heat index values could be reaching near 100 today. In fact, that's the case right down in Poughkeepsie right now. 97, 95 Albany with that heat index, 88 in Rome. So it's not too hot here locally, but as we head into the next few days, we're going to start to see a cool down on the way. We'll track that plus those rain chances on Thursday coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. It is hot outside, and we are often reminded of the danger of leaving children inside a vehicle, even for a short time. But just this past week, police in Arizona found 4 children left alone inside a hot car. Reporter Bianca Buono has the details on where their father went, leaving them alone.
Hi, buddy. How are you?
A shocking scene in Phoenix Thursday afternoon. Body camera footage showing police officers finding 4 children under the age of 10 left inside of a hot car. The windows were rolled up and the car was off.
Do you want some water?
It's unfathomable, to be honest.
Sergeant Rob Shear says someone called 911 reporting the dangerous situation. When officers arrived to the area of 24th Street in Madison, they found 3 of the kids inside the car and 1 outside, and they were in distress.
Pink, red skin, sweating, crying, that kind of thing, that kind of showed officers kind of the severity of where this could have gone.
Fire crews responded too, and the internal temperature of all of the kids was 100 degrees. Inside the car, even after the doors had been opened by officers for several minutes, it was 125 degrees.
In the utmost precaution, each child was transported to a nearby hospital just to kind of be observed and looked over.
The next question, where was their guardian? It turns out their father, 38-year-old Asensio Largo, had left them in the heat to visit this adult shop, and police say he had been inside for close to an hour.
Officers originally saw him and asked him, hey, is that your car? And he denied it being his car. That's troublesome also. Obviously, once it's clear those are his kids, and that's Dad.
Miraculously, the 4 small children are expected to be okay, but Largo has been booked on 8 felony charges.
They're inside of a car for upwards of an hour, which I can't even imagine what they, time-wise, felt it to be. Really hot, and then you're also now seeing officers put your dad in custody. I mean, that's the trauma associated with that is just profound.
As the Department of Child Safety conducts its own investigation, police find themselves once again urging parents to never leave their kids inside the car.
It's wild to me that 50 minutes wasn't enough time to turn this into some sort of tragedy. It's just, and me as a father, I can't wrap my head around, to be honest.
Bianca Buono reporting from Phoenix. Locally, a 20
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
The heat continues today. We're still in this very warm and humid stretch. We take a live look at Oneonta, where still plenty of blue skies out there. Yeah, there's some faint haze. Wildfire smoke really not too impactful. We'll keep a very close eye on the patterns from the northwest, but for now, not a huge concern. It's a warm one, 84 degrees out there in Oneonta early today. And we look at the bigger picture here, and this is all influenced by this high pressure system south of us called the heat dome. And this is producing a lot of heat in the southeast. Lots of heat warnings, heat advisories. We're seeing a little bit of it here locally, just a taste of the heat. And this will continue today and for much of tomorrow. Not nearly as hot tomorrow, but still very warm and humid. Our next weather maker is right here. Rain showers arriving from the west. This frontal boundary moves in. It transfers energy to a low pressure along the coast here. That transfer of energy is the most difficult part of this forecast. Besides that, we are just expecting scattered rain showers throughout the day Friday, but still, it's a bit up in the air on the exact speed of that transfer. We'll keep it posted, but for now, again, expect scattered showers Thursday. Still, it's very warm, very humid today, and a reminder, I always want to say this as much as possible on days like today because I still see dogs being walked at this time in the mid-afternoon on a hot day. This pavement is dangerous for your dog's paws. Hold off on the dog walk until the late evening, right around sunset. And again, a great way to measure this, I always say, put your hand on the pavement. If it's too hot for your hand, it's too hot for their paws. It's just a heads up for that. But again, it is just good enough that we have shoes, so we don't have to worry about this, especially for the Otsego County Fair, which opens today. Again, rides open tomorrow, but take advantage of the $1 price to get in today. It's hot and humid, temperatures in the 80s in the southern valleys. So, following the hot weather today, it cools down into the 60s tonight with quiet conditions. Tomorrow, after some morning fog, it warms up again, upper 80s, near 90 in the Mohawk Valley. An isolated storm or two north or south, and by isolated, it's very isolated. Very low chance of a storm tomorrow, but the chances are there. Then we head into Thursday morning. Rain showers develop, scattered showers throughout the day. They eventually end by the overnight into Friday. And that's when we really start to notice a change in the weather pattern. 70s move in Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And, you know, 4, 5, 6 days out, sometimes forecasts are a bit difficult to predict. This forecast, not very difficult to predict later on this week. This weekend's looking beautiful. 70s, sunshine, dry weather. One of the nicest weekends to be experiencing all summer long.
So book your plans.
Yes, book some outdoor plans this weekend. It's going to be great weather-wise.
Book them. Eric, thanks. Well,
Look at the forecast today with Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis. Gorgeous day out there.
Yeah?
I have no complaints.
You're speechless.
I'm speechless because we keep on going with this great weather.
Yeah, it's been a nice stretch of weather. We actually could use some rain, believe it or not. We've had so much nice weather that the lawns are browning up. I hate to point that out, but it's just the reality. 87 degrees. It feels like 90. It's going to be another one of those days where we won't hit 90, but you wouldn't know the difference with the high humidity. Dew point 67. Pretty humid out there. Pretty warm. The weather is going to stay dry this evening. It's going to be another lovely evening across central New York. We are tracking one more hot day ahead before the weather starts to cool down. We are tracking a cold front tomorrow afternoon, but there's not a lot of weather with it, believe it or not. It will bring a pretty substantial drop in temperature. We're looking at highs in the 70s as we head towards the end of the week. Another lovely evening. Temperatures in the low 80s. Very warm, very humid out there. Again, we are tracking a cold front. I've got to look at the forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. Governor Hochul says the state DEC and state health department have issued an air quality health advisory for today and tomorrow, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. due to ongoing air quality and extreme heat conditions. And the state is out with some potentially life-saving reminders for these conditions. First and foremost, stay hydrated. Avoid direct sunlight. Seek air conditioning or shade. Avoid strenuous outdoor activity, especially during the hottest hours of the day. And make sure you check in on older family members and neighbors and seek immediate medical attention if experiencing any symptoms of heat-related illness. The Red Cross is helping 15 people after a fire early this morning on Green Street in Utica.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. Another hot day. Temperatures made it into the upper 80s. Lots of sunshine It's pretty humid out there, too. Wildfire smoke hasn't been as much of a problem today. We're noticing less haze compared to yesterday, but we'll keep an eye on it. It does look like the air quality has improved. Looking ahead, there's a cold front on the way, and this arrives tomorrow. Now, traditionally, at least what most people think is whenever we have a big cool down, there's usually a lot of bad weather with it. And that is often the case, but it's a little more complicated than that. We look at the ingredients in the atmosphere, and tomorrow they just don't line up for strong weather, which, again, is good news in one sense, but it's also not great because we could use the rain, and it doesn't look like we're going to see much activity tomorrow. So the overall severe weather risk looks low. In fact, it's possible we may not even see much rain at all. This front just doesn't look all that impressive from that standpoint. Tonight, the Perseid meteor shower has begun. It peaks in a couple of weeks, but you can get out and check out shooting stars. In fact, I saw one last night from Smith Hill around 9:30 to the north, so they are out there. This is something we can watch here over the next couple of nights, well, actually the next couple of weeks. Reminder, you can always get weather information on our app by downloading our Storm Tracker 2 weather app. Very humid conditions tomorrow. The humidity drops. We've got much more comfortable and cooler weather ahead Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Dry out there. It's been a nice stretch of weather. We are tracking a cold front. That moves in from the west tomorrow. And again, the ingredients aren't really there for a whole lot of weather. Tonight, it's warm, it's stuffy, it's a good night for the air conditioner. Overnight lows drop down into the mid-60s. Sunshine Wednesday morning. Temperatures start out in the 70s. We'll climb into the upper 80s. In fact, look at Skycast, really not showing much at all in terms of any showers or storms. The cold front arrives in the late afternoon. We'll see some clouds develop as we get into tomorrow night. Now, Thursday, this front's going to stall, and we're going to be on the cooler side of it, which means clouds, showers. We might only be in the 60s during the day. How about that? That's quite a turnaround. Cloud showers expected Thursday afternoon. Tonight, mild, muggy, low of 63. Tomorrow, another hazy, hot, and humid day, 89 for the high. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Showers Thursday, 71. Nice weather. Temperatures in the 70s. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This could be one of the nicest weekends we've had all summer long. Saturday's high 76 or 82 on Sunday. And the weather continues to warm up next week. Highs in the mid-80s Monday and Tuesday.
So the dip is just gorgeous, and then we go back into more gorgeous right after.
Yeah, and we need the rain maybe a little bit on Thursday.
All right, we'll take it. All right, thank you, Bill. Well, that dangerous heat dome is producing stifling temperatures nationwide with more than 150 million people under heat alerts. Reporter Emily Aketa has more from Jersey City, New Jersey.
Hey there. Well, officials from Jacksonville, Florida to New York City are offering a clear and direct message to people today. Stay inside if you can. Here in northern Jersey, it's expected to feel like 105 degrees, marking the third extreme heat warning for the region so far in this unrelenting summer. The heat dome hanging on is impacting more than 150 million people across the country today, prompting some cities to extend hours at splash pads and pools. New York City even transforming some cultural hubs like museums into massive cooling centers to allow people to escape what will be the fifth heat emergency of the season. Now, people are cleaning up in the upper Midwest from a very different weather woe. Detroit had been soaked by several inches of rain, and in South Dakota, there was a possible tornado that touched down and tore through homes and farms. In Dallas today, first responders are bracing for yet another day of a heat index feeling like 103 degrees with concerns of heat-related illness. Now, officials are also urging people to be mindful of air quality alerts stretching from Delaware to Rhode Island, especially in those vulnerable populations. Think younger children, older adults, people with breathing and heart conditions. Back to you.
That was Emily Aketa reporting. Still ahead, we're going to talk in this half hour with Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis. Ice cream, right, baby?
It is ice cream time for sure. We're talking about temperatures in the 80s this evening, so you're going to want to eat it fast because we are looking at very warm and humid conditions. But it is a great night for that. We've had a warm summer here in central New York. Temperatures have been about 3 degrees above average this month of July. And it looks like we're going to continue this warmer than average trend, at least for the short term, before some cooler weather does arrive. A live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. One thing we have not seen much of is rain. We're running more than an inch behind on rainfall this month. Temperatures will make it close to 90 tomorrow, but it is going to cool down. We have a chance for rain Thursday, and then temperatures will stay in the 70s. Actually, some very comfortable weather Friday and Saturday before warmer weather builds back in, and we get it's going to start feeling like the middle of summer again by the early part of next week. And a much more pleasant evening to take the dog out for a walk compared to this afternoon. Temperatures will cool off into the mid-80s. Tonight's featured dog is Mushroom from Remsen. If you want to be part of this, head to Skycast WKTV on Facebook. This is brought to you by Nissan. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. President Trump on his way.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Another hot day across central New York. Temperatures made it into the upper 80s. Still 87 degrees in Cooperstown. Lots of sunshine. We've had nice weather. In fact, it's been so nice we actually could use the rain. It's been really dry. And the lawns are starting to brown up and water levels continue to drop. We do have some rain in the forecast for Thursday. We're also keeping an eye on wildfire smoke. That's been a thing this summer. Wildfires have been burning in Canada more so than usual. We've been occasionally seeing some smoke here. I don't foresee the air quality being an issue for the short term, but we are watching Wednesday night into early Thursday. We might have another round of this dropping in from Canada. It's not expected to cause any big problems, but perhaps a minor impact on air quality. Reminder, you can always get weather alerts, including air quality alerts, to your phone by downloading our Storm Tracker 2 weather app. Did a comparison of July of this year, since it's been so warm, and it compared it to a typical climate. So our average for July 2025 at Griffiths and Rome is 73.1 degrees. Of course, it's not, the month isn't over with yet, but that's where we stand as of today. That's similar to a typical Pittsburgh summer. 73.2 degrees is the average high in Pittsburgh in the summer. Of course, it's also been hotter in Pittsburgh, too. It's been hotter across the whole eastern seaboard this year, but this is just kind of a comparison as to how this summer looks versus a typical summer. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. It's been dry. If you do have to cut the lawn, I know hasn't been growing very fast. Tomorrow's a good day, as well as Friday. We do have some rain in the forecast on Thursday. Our MoCast is brought to you by Clinton Tractor. Skywatchers, 89 in Clinton, 86 in Cassville, Donna Norway, 87, Jeff and Mohawk, 86, Genevas, 91, Stewart and Cooperstown, 86. A weak cold front, or at least a cold front that's not producing much rain, will be approaching from the west tomorrow. We're dry tonight. Overnight lows drop down into the 60s. Sunshine tomorrow. A generally beautiful day. That cold front arrives late in the day. It could spark a shower or rumble of thunder, but there's not a lot of ingredients in place to produce much weather here. We do expect a drop in temperature. We'll be on the north side of this cold front on Thursday. Clouds, showers. Look at these temperatures Thursday afternoon in the 60s and even 50s due to the rain and cloud cover. A dramatic change in the weather is expected Thursday afternoon. Mild, muggy tonight, low of 63. Tomorrow, another hazy, hot, and humid day, 89 for the high. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Showers Thursday, 71. Friday, Saturday, Sunday look really nice. Sunshine, very comfortable and feeling like early September with highs in the 70s and overnight lows in the 50s. But we do warm up. We're back to more summer-like temperatures here with highs in the mid-80s Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. We'll be right back.
That's with Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Another hot day. Temperatures made it into the mid to upper 80s. 86 degrees at Griffiths and Rome. Feels like 87. Humid out there. The weather is going to change. We've got another hot day ahead tomorrow before we'll see some significant changes in the weather. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. It's dry. It's going to be another lovely evening. Our weather changes tomorrow with a cold front arriving. There's not a lot of weather with the cold front itself. But on the backside of it, that's when things really start to change. Cloud showers arrive on Thursday. We actually get some much needed rainfall. And this sets the stage for much cooler weather heading into the end of the week and into the weekend. Mostly sunny, humid, temperatures in the upper 70s to low 80s this evening. We are tracking some much-needed rainfall ahead if we're going to look at the forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. Governor Hochul says the state DEC and state health department have issued air quality health advisories for today and tomorrow, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., due to ongoing air quality and extreme heat conditions. And the state is out with some potentially life-saving reminders for these conditions. A lot of these go without saying, but we just want to remind everybody, stay hydrated. That's number one. Avoid direct sunlight, seek air conditioning or shade. Avoid strenuous outdoor activity, especially during the hottest hours of the day. Make sure you check in on older family members and neighbors and seek immediate medical attention if you're experiencing any symptoms of heat-related illnesses. State police released new details.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. Another beautiful day across Central New York. Lots of sunshine, hot, temperatures in the upper 80s. We did not hit 90 degrees, although we got pretty close today. 87, the unofficial high at Griffiths and Rome. Live look at downtown Utica, lots of sunshine. It's less hazy today compared to yesterday. We're not seeing as much of an influence of that Canadian wildfire smoke. We might see a little bit more of that late Wednesday and into early Thursday. We have a cold front on the way for tomorrow. A lot of times when we get these big cold fronts that drop the temperature, we often get a lot of strong to severe weather. This is not expected to be the case tomorrow. The ingredients just don't line up for this. We're tracking the possibility of a couple of storms tomorrow. And in fact, it's possible that some places don't even see any rain at all tomorrow as this front sweeps through. Reminder, you can always get weather information by downloading our Storm Tracker 2 weather app. It has been a hot July. Temperatures have been 3 degrees above average, 73.1 degrees. Again, that's the high and the low combined at Griffiths and Rome. That is more typical of a Pittsburgh summer. Pittsburgh's average temperature in July is 73.2 degrees. This kind of shows you how unusually warm it's been this July compared to average. The humidity, it's going to be another humid day tomorrow, but that humidity drops Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We do have some cooler weather on the way. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. It's going to remain dry this evening. Skywatchers 89 in Clinton, Whitesboro 88, Helen and Cassville 86, Don in Norway 87, Jeff and Mohawk 86, Stewart and Cooperstown 86 degrees. Temperatures about maybe 1 or 2 degrees cooler today compared to yesterday, but it's about the same. We'll expect more tomorrow. Bigger picture shows a cold front moving in from the west. Again, not a lot of ingredients to produce weather as it moves through. Tonight, overnight lows drop down into the 60s. Tomorrow, sunshine. Temperatures start out in the low 70s at 8 a.m. Another hot day, temperatures close to 90 degrees. That cold front arrives in the afternoon, and again, you can see Skycast not showing much weather at all. The front pushes to the south, and then Thursday, things start to change. We're going to have a piece of energy moving along that front because we're on the north side. It is going to be a cool day Thursday. Clouds, showers. We might only be in the 60s during the day on Thursday based on rainfall. Mild, muggy tonight, low of 63. Tomorrow, hazy, hot, and humid, 89 for the high. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Cloud showers Thursday, 71. We're in the mid-70s Friday and Saturday. Beautiful days ahead, and it could be one of the nicest weekends we've had in a long time. Back-to-back sunny days, comfortable temperatures in the mid-80s early next week.
I feel like we've had a really nice summer so far.
It's been hot. It's been dry. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Still to come on News Channel 2 at 6.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening and welcome back. Some breaking news about the earthquake off the coast of Russia. The USGS just upgraded it to an 8.8, which makes it one of the strongest earthquakes in recorded history. It's going to be on the top 10 list somewhere. Just incredibly impressive and very jarring tonight. We're continuing to follow tsunami advisories along the west coast with that. Let's talk about our local weather, though. We are not in danger of that, of course, but we are talking about a few thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. The cold front that arrives just doesn't put together much of a punch in terms of any weather. In fact, I'm just thinking a few scattered thunderstorms at most, and the best chance is going to be south and east of Utica. So if you are outdoors, I don't expect this to be a big problem, but it doesn't hurt to download our Storm Tracker 2 weather app and get weather alerts on your phone. Perseid meteor shower is going to be in full swing in just a week or two. Tonight, you can get an early start to this. You can watch meteors out there, about 20 to 30 per hour. The Perseid meteor shower peaks August 12th and the 13th, but we have a full moon during that time, which means it's going to be hard to see the meteors when the moon is out. It tends to wash out the sky. Your best viewing is going to be over the next week or two. And again, you can take advantage of this tonight. The weather looks pretty quiet. We've got humid conditions tomorrow. It turns less humid heading into the end of the week. Big changes on the way. Live look at the Eric Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Things look quiet. It has been really dry lately, but if you do have to cut the lawn, tomorrow is a good day to do that, as well as Friday. We have rain in store Thursdays. That doesn't look as good. Our MoCast is brought to you by Clinton Tractor. A cold front moves in from the west. Again, it's going to change our weather, but not bring a whole lot of weather with it. Tonight, overnight lows drop into the 60s. We'll expect sunshine throughout the day tomorrow. Temperatures will be close to 90 degrees. Again, a very small chance of a pop-up storm. The front heads to the south, and then it stalls. And it's not until Thursday that we see some weather with this. Clouds, showers, actually a cool day. Temperatures only in the 60s. Mild, muggy tonight, low of 63. Tomorrow, hazy, hot, and humid. A high of 89. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Much cooler Thursday, 71. Cloud showers. We're dry on Friday, 76. Some nice weather heading into the weekend. Actually, one of the nicest weekends we've had in a long time. Sunny skies Saturday and Sunday. Comfortable. Back into the mid-80s looking ahead to Monday and Tuesday. We'll be right back.
We begin tonight with breaking news. A massive 8.8 magnitude earthquake struck off the coast of Russia tonight. Parts of Alaska and Hawaii under tsunami warnings, while the entire U.S. West Coast under a tsunami advisory. Let's bring in Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis right now. And while this isn't meteorological, this is pretty big.
Yeah.
One of the biggest we've seen in many, many years.
Oh, absolutely. I did study earthquakes in my master's degree, so I do have some background in this. It's not my expertise, but I can tell you that this is one of the biggest earthquakes that we've had.
8.8.
8.8 is big. I mean, you're talking one of the top 10 ever recorded on our planet. The other thing, too, about tsunamis, earthquakes happen along boundaries, plate boundaries, and they can move in different directions. A lot of times they go side to side.
Right.
That wouldn't create a tsunami. If they go up and down, that can disturb the water above the surface. So this happened below the surface of the ocean, and it did something like this. So that change in the Earth's ground ended up setting off a tsunami above. The thing is, it's hard to get information on this while it's happening, but we did get some information in Russia that there was some impacts of the tsunami. Japan's getting some impacts of the tsunami. And we can tell where that wave is going to go. It's hard to get a grasp on the height of the wave, but based on the projections of where that earthquake happened, we've got all these areas under times here. So the West Coast is not going to experience this until about 11:40 to midnight Pacific time.
Middle of the night for us.
Yeah, so this is going to be a middle of the night thing, and then Hawaii is going to be around a little after 1 o'clock in the morning local time. So we'll have to see how this plays out. But again, this is definitely a big deal, big earthquake at the very least. And let's take a look at our weather here locally, because obviously we're not going to see any of the effects of this earthquake, this tsunami. But we are tracking some changes in the weather. A current temperature of 69 degrees, calm winds, clear skies. It is going to drop into the mid-60s tonight, mild, muggy. Cold front arrives tomorrow, and we're going to see some relief from this long stretch of heat and humidity we've been experiencing. I've got to look at the forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. Let's take a live look now.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. This hot, humid weather is going to come to an abrupt end tomorrow. We have a cold front rolling through, and we're going to see a big drop in the temperature by Thursday. Now, you might be thinking there's going to be a lot of strong weather that's going to go along with this, and that is not a wrong assumption, because that's often the case. This time around, this cold front's coming in like a dud. Not really expecting a lot of weather with this at all. In fact, we may not even see any rain or any thunder. We'll keep the chance in just in case, because it is a cold front. But again, the conditions don't look all that favorable. In fact, I think some of us will be escaping rain-free. Many of us escaping rain-free tomorrow. You can get weather alerts on your phone by downloading our Storm Tracker 2 weather app at any point. This also gives air quality alerts. You've been dealing with that for the past couple of days. Tonight, the Perseid meteor shower begins. This is going to continue into the month of August, but I'm encouraging people to check it out tonight, because the moon has set, and the moon is going to become full when this peaks out August 12th and 13th. So when the full moon is out, it's hard to see meteors because it kind of washes out the sky. But we won't be dealing with that for the next couple of days. So if you are interested in this, again, check it out over the next couple of nights. Humid night tonight, but the weather changes. One more humid day tomorrow, then that cold front arrives, and look at that. The humidity goes way down heading into the end of the week. Live look at the Airfield Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. We've had a dry stretch of weather. If you do need to cut the lawn, tomorrow's a good day for that, as well as Friday. Thursday, not so much. We actually have some much needed rain in the forecast. Our MoCast is brought to you by Clinton Tractor. Cold front moves in from the west. Again, tonight we're looking at clear skies, overnight lows in the 60s. Tomorrow, sunshine in the morning. The sun continues throughout the day. There's a very small chance of a pop-up shower in the afternoon, but again, Scottcast really not showing much here. Temperatures will be close to 90 degrees. The front drags to the south and stalls, and a wave of low pressure will be moving along with it. So on Thursday, the clouds thicken up. We're going to be on the other side of the front, which means we get a cool rain. Look at this, temperatures in the 60s, a dramatic change in our weather over the course of 24 hours. Mild, muggy tonight, low of 63. Tomorrow, hazy, hot, humid, 89. Showers Thursday, a cool day, 71. Friday's high, 76. We'll dry out, we'll see sunshine. It looks like a stellar weekend. Could be one of the nicest weekends of the year. Sunny skies both Saturday and Sunday. Saturday's high, 76. Sunday, we're up to 82. Warm weather early next week, highs in the low to mid 80s Monday and Tuesday. We'll be right back.